Welcome to Grounded Spirits Podcast, a place where we're learning how to stay rooted while flying high. Today we're going to be going into part 2 of the Halls of Amenti. In the first episode, we went through the first 3 pages of the PDF that I have. If you would like this PDF, you could DM me PDF at Grounded Spirits or email me at groundedspirits.com. groundedspirits@gmail.com. We are going to be going over the last 3 pages here. So in the first one, we talked about the children of light and everything that they've done with the Halls of Amenti, and now we're going to get into what lies ahead. So I'm going to just jump right in because the last one was an hour, and I'm hoping that this one won't be as long, but we shall see after the break. Before we get into the Hall of Amenti, I wanted to talk a little bit about what it means to stay rooted while flying high and how we use the text to do that. So I'm choosing texts that will allow us to become more grounded in who we are by uncovering knowledge. And then by using this knowledge and by applying the knowledge to ourselves, then we can rise above and fly high. So that's what we are doing here. So I'm going to just read you the first part. This is on page 15 of this PDF. Like I said, if you would like it, just DM me PDF or like emerald tablets or whatever, and I'll email it to you. Obviously, send me your email too. Okay. So, like I said, at the top of page 15. One step thou has gained on the long pathway upward. Infinite now is the mountain of light. And it's so interesting that they use that terminology, that Thoth, the Atlantean, uses this terminology, because this is how it feels being on a spiritual journey. You feel like you're on this super long pathway. You know that it's upward, but it's still treacherous, and it feels like you're going up an entire mountain. And what I was talking about in the last episode with St. John of the Cross, that this is how he describes it too. He calls it Mount Carmel or Mount Carmel, and how it's so treacherous to climb up it, but you have to in order to become one with God. And in this case, the way that they use it is like with light or with one or the infinite all is how they describe God or the universe or the infinite intelligence. Then they go on to say, each step thou taketh but heightens the mountain. All thy progress but lengthens the goal. So this is something that I've been learning a lot about recently, is that what I was kind of saying a little bit before in the last episode about the path of heart, that when you're trying to go up the mountain, you're using your Capricorn side, and it's not going to work if you have made the intention that you don't want to cause harm to anyone. Julia Domna and Septimius Severus, they were emperors of the Roman Empire in the early 200s. And they did have to, in order for Severus to become the emperor, he did have to kill a lot of people. He was part of the year of the 5 emperors, ending with him, and then he reigned for about 15 years. And yeah, so they had, in order to get to the top, they had to claw their way up to the top. And I think that now we're learning that we don't have to claw our way up there. What I was saying before with surrendering, that we really need to surrender to God, and that's the only way that the mountain becomes a molehill. And we don't have to climb up something. We can just stay still, be still, and the mountain will simply pass. That's why it says that each step thou taketh. But if you don't take any steps, the mountain will come to you. Oh, they even say that with like Muhammad. Muhammad doesn't go to the mountain comes to Muhammad, or something along those lines. I tried to pause to think about it, but it didn't work. Moving on to the next one. Approach ye ever the infinite wisdom, ever before thee recedes the goal. Free are ye made now in the halls of Amenti, to walk hand in hand with the lords of the world, one in one purpose, working together, bring of light to the children of men. So what Thoth is telling us here is that on your way up this mountain of light, that you're going to be going through the dark night of the soul, like Saint John of the Cross states. And on that journey, that's what's going to get you to where you want to go, is by going on that journey. Not to actually get to the top of the mountain, but by going on the journey is what's going to allow you to reach infinite wisdom, to be free from the Halls of Amenti, and to walk hand in hand with the lords of the world, one in one purpose, working together, bring of light to the children of men. Okay, so that's the crazy part right here, is that is where the quotation ends. So these last few, and we actually cut it right in the middle between the two episodes, but these are all coming from the children of light. Oh, no, it's not. My bad. This is all text from the dweller once he became one with God. So this is what he's telling Thoth. So he's like, you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. Then from his throne came one of the masters, taking my hand and leading me onward. Through the halls of the deep hidden land, led he me through the halls of Amenti, showing the mysteries that are known not to man. Through the dark passage downward he led me, into the hall where the sight of the dark death. Vast a space lay the great hall before me, walled by darkness, but yet filled with light. Before me arose a great throne of darkness, veiled on it, seated, a figure of night. Darker than darkness sat the great figure, dark with the darkness not of the night. Before it then paused the master, speaking the word that brings about life, saying, O master of darkness, guide of the way from life unto life. Before thee I bring a son of the morning. Touch him not ever the power of night. Call not his flame to the darkness of night. Know him and see him, one of our brothers, lifted from darkness into the light. Release thou his flame from its bondage. Free let it flame through the darkness of night. Raise then hand of the figure. Forth came a flame that grew clear and bright, rolled back swiftly the curtain of darkness, unveiled the hall from the darkness of night. So it seems to be going on here is that he was like with his teacher from like back in Atlantis, and he was talking to him like, you can have whatever you want, do whatever you want, like you're chilling. Then another master came down and like grabbed him to like led him down this dark path, and then it sounds like the devil, no? Like the darkness of dark, but like that's still yet filled with light. And so like this dark figure, but darkness not of the night. And so if we think about Lucifer, he is the light bringer. So that's interesting. And then the master talks to him like, this is a son, like, know him, see him. He's one of our brothers. He is lifted from the darkness into the light. Release thou his flame from bondage. So I think that's like saying, like, get rid of his mind so that he can be pure soul, pure source. So like that's the flame that he was talking about with all of the knowledge that he was acquiring from the dweller, his teacher from Atlantis. And the fact that this dark figure has a flame that grew clear and bright, rolled back swiftly from the curtain of darkness, unveiled the hall from the darkness of night. Then grew in the great space before me, flame after flame from the veil of the night. Uncounted millions leaped they before me, some flaming forth as flowers of fire. So when we think about hell, we also think about fire. So it's like sounding very hellish, but like in a safe and cool way, question mark. But I can like picture it like, the only thing that's coming to mind, but I know there are other movies that do it a lot better, but is, The Incredibles, when after he goes through like that lava, like door, and then like it all like there's one path and it just like lights up. That's like what I'm picturing with this. But it's cool too that he's not afraid of the fires, because he calls them as flowers of fire. So like that's really beautiful. Continuing on. Others there were that shed a dim radiance, flowing but faintly from out of the night. So this is referring to the flames, so that there were millions of them and they were like in his path, but then there are others that shed a dim radiance. So that's interesting. So I wonder if these flames are of souls that are on earth, that some of our souls do shine brilliantly and others are dim, and they need some more help with that inner light activation. Gabrielle Chouchon is one of them. I'm writing a book right now about her astrology, so I'll be telling you more about that soon. But that's why I've been looking at her chart for so long. Okay, continuing forward. Some there were that faded swiftly, others that grew from a small spark of light. Oh my gosh, these are the souls, because so Aries is that small spark of light. Earlier they were talking about like a wildfire of light, and so that would be Sagittarius. The brilliant ones that were coming into his path, that would be Leo, like, hey, pay attention to me. So like it's cool how we still see like the same elements of astrology, since astrology is the language of the oldest stories there ever were. Each surrounded by its dim veil of darkness, yet flaming with light that could never be quenched. Coming and going like fireflies in springtime, filled they this with space, with light, and with life. Then spoke a voice mighty and solemn, saying, "These are lights." Oh my gosh, I called it. "These are lights that are souls among men, growing and fading, existing forever, changing yet living through death into life. When they have bloomed into flower, reached the zenith of growth in their life, swiftly they send I my veil of darkness, shrouding and changing to new forms of life." This is absolutely incredible. It's exactly what I called, There's still more. There's like 4 more stanzas, but I just have to stop here for a second. That this is what Anne Conway, a British philosopher, talks about as well, that everything has a soul, everything has a consciousness, just like there's different levels to everything. And so she's saying that and it's kind of getting into like Eastern, like Buddhist kind of philosophies of, if you had a good life, then you're going to keep moving up. If you behaved poorly, then you're going to keep going down the levels. But at each level, you're still you still have your soul. The way that you reincarnate, you could reincarnate into a plant or to an animal, just kind of depending on how your last life was. And while I do agree with her that that in a life I could have been a rock, let's say, or I could have been a horse, I don't think that it's based so much in how you live your life. I think it's about the lessons that the soul needs to learn, and the best way to teach those lessons could be by becoming a car or becoming a lamp shade, So it just kind of depends on where you are in your journey. But what I really love about this is saying that, like, once they have bloomed into a flower, they've reached the zenith of their growth. Now, like he puts them back into darkness so they could become something different. Because our souls are forever changing. We are infinite. And it's just like really cool to see that in this text. So the voice that is mighty and solemn continues, saying, steadily upward throughout the ages, growing, expanding into yet another flame, lighting the darkness with yet greater power, quenched yet unquenched by the veil of the night. So again, we're just here to expand and to see things from different perspectives. So once we reach the zenith here, we're going to go somewhere else to reach that zenith, and then it just goes on forever, just to experience and to know. So exactly what I just said. The next line says, so grows the soul of man ever upward, quenched yet unquenched by the darkness of night. I, death, come, and yet I remain not, for life eternal exists in the all, capital ALL. So it's talking about God. Only an obstacle, I in the pathway, quick to be conquered by the infinite light. So this is for his death. Like he's coming back to source. And yeah, life eternal exists in the all, to go back with God. And I feel like that is what like Christian theology tells us as well. Like when you die, you're going to go back with God. And so it's like, it's part of this. It's going back to source. Awaken, O flame that burns ever inward. Ooh, so that's what I was saying about the inner light activation. This is what Sushon talks a lot about. Awaken, O flame that burns ever inward, flame forth and conquer the veil of the night. So it's saying grow that inner light so that it can conquer the veil of night, that like it's prison of the mind or of the body or of the spirit, wherever your soul is being imprisoned. Whenever you do something that you don't want to do, then like, how do I say this? Whatever you do, something that you do want to do, that is how you conquer the veil of the night. Just keep doing the things that you love, and your soul will naturally expand and naturally come out of you. Like, express itself better. Then in the midst of the flames, in the darkness grew there one that drove forth the night, flaming, expanding, ever brighter, until at last was nothing but light. So I think, again, this has to do with like that Sagittarius wildfire, that you just have to keep growing and growing and growing. But then that's why, if we're saying that the dark figure is the devil, then that's why the devil puts some darkness in it, because it's part of like the yin and yang. You know, you need the darkness and the light. And that's what he was saying. Then spoke my guide, the voice of the master, see your own soul as it grows in the light, free now forever from the Lord of the night. Forward he led me through many great spaces, filled with the mysteries of the children of light, mysteries that man may never yet know of, until he too is a son of light. So he's saying that anyone can do this. Anyone can achieve this level. You just have to keep learning about yourself and learning about yourself, and that these magical things are possible according to Thoth. But yeah, it all just comes down to knowing your own soul as it grows in the light. Free now forever from the Lord of the night. Because he knows himself too well. Backward then he, so this is the dweller that has merged with God. So back then he led me into the light of the hall of the light. Knelt I then before the great masters, lords of all. So again, all is God or the infinite. From the cycles above. Spoke he then the words of great power, saying, thou hast been made free of the halls of Amenti, Choose thou thy work among the children of men. Then spoke I, O great master, let me be a teacher of men, leading then onward. I think I meant to say them, leading them onward and upward until they too are lights among men. And that's what he did by writing this, so that's pretty cool. Freed from the veil of the night that surrounds them, flaming with light that shall shine among men. Spoke to me then the voice, go and yet will, as yet will. So be it decreed, Master, are ye of your destiny, free to take or reject at will. Take yet the power, take ye the wisdom, shine as a light among the children of men. So again, that imagery of the light and the shining, and about master of your own destiny. We're constantly told that in the spiritual community. But like here, it's being reflected in a way that holds more power, that no one can restrain us, that we could even be above the halls of Amenti to be free of them, that we don't have to be lost. Oh, interesting. So you only get lost in the halls of Amenti, in that river of souls, if you're constantly trying to fight it. But if you actually can surrender to God, then you have nothing to worry. You become free of the halls of Amenti. Upward then led me the dweller. Dwelt I again among children of men, teaching and showing some of my wisdom. Son of the light, a fire among men. Now again I tread the path downward, seeking the light in the darkness of night. Bold ye and keep ye, preserve my record, guide shall it be to the children of men. So he's saying when he came back up, he was back in the darkness, but he's saying this is a good thing, because why would I want to be in the light where everything is known and already explored? I want to be an explorer. I want to search the night to be able to better understand it, to then help and to guide the children of men. And that's it. So now next week we will do tablet 3, the key of wisdom.